Peace, family. Peace, 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 peace. All right. So, if you guys are new to my channel, my name is Dina Bryant. I do these inspirational videos. But before we get all the way deep into it, I hope you guys are having a phenomenal day. If not, do understand that it is because of your perception. Okay. You change the way you see things. In the words of Wayne Dyer, everything is going to change. So, I wanted to talk about, my experience far as struggling and how I just felt like I always was going to have to struggle, right? And it's a belief system. Everything that we tend to do is a belief system, is habits, is the paradigm, is the habits that we do on a day in and day out basis that we are so unaware of. We just sometimes we say we don't like the results that we get, and we even ask questions like, why do we have to keep on going through this? And so I'm gonna give you guys a little backstory. So from a little girl, some of you guys know my story, and if you don't, I'm gonna just do a recap. So from a little girl, I grew up in the projects, right? I lived with my father, from up into the age of 5, I recall. And growing up in the projects, it was like poverty. It was, people being on welfare, having low income and, things of that nature. It was just like struggle, right? Um, and that was my experience. And so after 5 years old, right, I was taken away from my father and I was placed into a foster home, which I later ran away, and then a group home. And then from the group home, my mother's sister had wound up, getting custody of me. Her and her husband wound up getting custody of me. And so living with my aunt, that was like the first place where so I seen, like fashion, I seen designer things, I seen like, all these different things. And I seen, my cousins was in college and things of that nature. So that was like the first place where so I seen like, oh, like you don't have to live that way, what I grew up for the first 5 years, I don't have to live that way. But later on, I had started staying with my grandmother, right? And my grandmother, she was so wise, just was full of love, right? And that my grandmother lived down in projects, and first it started off, I would go there like, just mainly on the weekends because my mother lived with my grandmother. And so I would go there on the weekends, and then later on, I wound up staying for good at my grandmother's house. And I still was, at that time, was in a Catholic school, going to Catholic school and things of that nature. And later on, right, like over the years, when I became about 18 years old, but in between that, I was running away and things of that nature. But I became 18. When I was 18 years old, I had my first child, okay? And doing so, having my first child, what I realized, right, my cousin, she had told me that I was going to, this was like the introduction of me becoming on government assistance. So my cousin calls me because at this time, I'm about to go into labor, and she's like, you're going to have to get on Medicaid, right, to have your baby delivered. And I cried, right? I cried, and the reason I cried because the whole stigma about, being on government assistance, I never wanted my life to be like that. I never wanted to grow up and, well, to be on food stamps and, things of that nature. I seen so much more for me and, my child at the time. And so wound up getting on food stamps and Medicaid and things of that nature. And then later on, right, I started working and I was in school, then I went to college and everything like that. And I had this belief system that I never even knew I had. And the belief system was, it was a story, right? The story was that I could never live in a certain type of house because of my skin color. I could never be a millionaire because of my skin color. I could never do certain types of things because of my skin color. And I thought for a long time that that was, so true. And being in certain religions that would, keep on focusing on things that is not serving, right? And listen, if you into religion, you do what works for you. But what I seen was, for religion, it didn't work for me. And so what I started doing was, I got sick and tired. Like, I got sick and tired, so sick and tired. And I will always ask this question, well, make this statement when I went in the bathroom. I would say, you want to say hello? You want to say hello? Well, she don't want to say hello. I would make this statement when I would go in the bathroom, and I would say, I know I did not come here for this. And when I say I did not come here for this, basically what I was talking about was, I knew that I did not come here to work and pay bills and struggle, right? Experience struggling. I knew I came here for something else. I did not know exactly what I came here for at that time. I didn't know what I was to do. I just felt stuck. I felt stuck. I felt very unhappy. I experienced depression, experienced anxiety. I just wanted something more, right? I wanted something more, and I didn't want to keep on going through the things that I was going through. And so, fast forward, I started, I was on YouTube, and I came across a video by B.O.B., and that was like the beginning of, and I don't want to say spiritual awakening, but that was like the beginning of me becoming aware of some of the things that I was doing. And that video, it touched me so much that I was like, you know what? It was like before I could even articulate a question that I had, he was answering it, before I could even articulate or put it all into words. It was like B.O.B., the rapper, was answering it. And so I remember I was watching this video. Well, it was like a commercial or something on YouTube, and it was Bob Proctor, and he was talking about, if you want more, you can have it, and all these different things. And this was like an older white guy, and I was like, I don't know if what he's saying, if it's legit, but I deserve better and I want better, right? And at this time, I detoxed my mind. The things that I was watching, I no longer was watching, which included Lifetime and, getting caught up into gossip, watching celebrities and all these different things that was just taking me away from my life and my current reality. I was going into someone else's reality. And so from that point on, I started investing, right? I started investing. I started changing my environment. I started being around people that talked about money, who wasn't ashamed to talk about money. I started being around people, and it was, at times, it was me just listening to YouTube, right? Or it was one particular time I had went and flew all the way to San Diego to see Lisa Nichols, and she was given this it was like a seminar. It was like, speak and write to make millions. And the way I knew I wanted more was because I started doing things that scared the living crap out of me. Like, that meant, I never been on a plane, by myself, and this was like gonna be my second time flying, and I just wanted more. So it didn't matter if people came with me to go see Lisa Nichols, so I could get the information that she knew about speaking and things of that nature. I just wanted more. And so I did the unthinkable. I booked me a flight. I went to the event. It was I believe, 3-day event. No, 4-day event. I went to the event. I paid the money. I did not care. I did not care how, if it was going to cost me. I made up in my mind that I wanted more and I deserved more. And so what that looked like was, things that I normally wouldn't watch, I started watching, right? Lectures, people talking about wealth and stuff like that. Things that I normally wouldn't attend, I started attending. And the reason why was because I got sick of experiencing struggle, right? Like I got sick of it. And so I wanted more and I deserve more and my children deserve more. So this is for the people that ever feel like, you can't have this, you can't have that because of your skin color or what society tells you or what you grew up around seeing or whatever it is like that. One of the first things I would highly encourage is to detox, right? To detox what you constantly putting into the subconscious mind, because I say all the time the subconscious does not know fantasy from reality. That's one. And then two, your environment. Your environment, it plays a huge part in why you get some of the things that you get, right? Your environment. Who are you hanging around? If all five of your friends are broke, right, you are going to most likely be the sixth broke friend. All right. Also start challenging yourself. Start doing things that you necessarily wouldn't normally do, right? Get out of your comfort zone, because the comfort zone is a scary zone. Although it may be comfortable, although it don't require you to grow, right? Some people, they stay their whole entire life in a comfort zone and living a settled life when they could have had so much more. So with that being said, I hope you guys got something from this. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I love you guys. I catch you guys next video. And with that being said, peace.